Hey, welcome back to Banished Souls. This is Captain Cryptic talking. So, we're going to be discussing ship builds. Everyone is wondering what the best ship builds are. We're going to kind of discuss this in some detail for you today. So, right now we have a brigantine. This is actually my preferred ship for just running against the NPCs whenever you're trying to collect your pieces of 8, or maybe you're just out raiding with your friends. The problem with this ship, if they don't have it, they're not going to be able to keep up with you, because you can get this thing up to between 18 and 23 knots if you're using water barrels and stuff. So that's pretty amazing as far as the speed aspect of it. So let's look and see how we've built this. We're going to go into our managed ship area. So when it comes to weapons, everyone has their own preferred weapons, and it comes down to there's no perfect build for all situations, but if you're looking for something that's going to help you compete on the NPC world in any of the regions that you're going to see, I like to use these fire bombards. So this is a tier 3. You can pick up the tier 2s typically by running the mission lines. They're going to send them to you in the crates. For the tier 3, you're going to have to get the blueprint in the black market to build those. I prefer the fire bombards. Let's bring up some of these stats. So the damage output it does is 2,925. It reloads in 7.5 seconds, has a range of 550 meters, and it's going to have gun ports of 2. So basically, each one of these is going to count as 2 that you throw on, guys. You have an upper and lower, basically. So explosives. So you're going to have the added 20% damage of explosive damage in the 35-meter blast radius. So what that's saying is wherever that round hits, it's going to explode. So if it's next to the ship, you're still going to do damage. One of the great things about this particular weapon here. Then the burning adds an extra 10% of damage in burning damage. So here's your damage summary. It's going to be 2,925 damage per shot. Now, understand that's if you were hitting vital areas on the ship. You're going to have an additional 292 fire damage, an additional 585 explosive damage. Some of that's coming from our furniture. We're going to discuss how to place furniture on the ship. Those are going to be like your buffs and things. Remember, this is MMO, so you have to kind of think along that timeline there. So we have weak point damage 150%, blast radius of 38 meters. That's not too bad. Projectile speed of 135 meters per second. And it will fit on all ship sizes. That's something you need to pay attention to when you're looking at the weapons on here. Is not all weapons are going to fit on all size ships. So that's going to be a key piece of information. So how I set mine up, the bow guns, the port guns, the starboard guns, and the stern, they are all bombard 3s, the fire bombarders, guys. Now, in the black market, you're going to be able to open higher DPS and stuff as you go, but until you get to that point, look for your fire bombards. You're going to have to check your mailboxes after you complete missions, and once you hit that kingpin rank, they're really going to start loading those in. You're going to draw them like crazy. So then we have our auxiliary. So with the auxiliary shot, you're going to have a ship that's going to have the auxiliary spot, obviously. So if you're in something like the Hulk, it doesn't have that on its deck, so you're not going to be able to set one of these up. Currently, we are using the Mortar 3. It has a damage effect of 11,700. The reload is 20 seconds, kind of long, but it's more or less for just getting someone off of you or engaging straight into battle, and then you can pop it off as you go. Now, we also have healing mortars for those of you who are using healers. You're going to want to come and get you a repair mortar 3. This is one of the greatest ways to heal your teammates. This is going to repair 11,700. Same range, same reload speeds and things like that. But right now we're traveling solo, so we are just basically focusing on weapons. Our blast effect is going to give us a 15% of damage as explosive damage in a 50-meter blast radius. Maybe wondering how did we get it that high? Well, we're going to go over that with the furniture. Damage per shot 11,700. Explosive damage 1,755. You're going to do 100% weak point damage. Means if you hit them in a weak spot, you're going to do 100% damage, and typically you will almost sink that ship. If it's one of the smaller ships, he's toast. If you get up around those 10s, 11s, and even 12s, it's going to take a couple shots, but you're going to be putting out some massive damage. Blast radius 50 meters, projectile speed 1 meter per second, ship size be all sizes. That has an auxiliary port or auxiliary slot. So when it comes to armor, everybody has their preferred. To me right now, until we are able to find a Black Prince armor or the Orbis armor opens up, The Royal Custodian, which is a free armor you're going to pick up in the Merchant Convoy missions. You're going to pick that up every time you kill it. As you can see, we've got a few in here. Now, this is going to bind to your account. You're not going to be able to trade that off. So if someone's telling you they're going to send you some armor for 50 million silver, they're lying to you. We've got 3 in inventory. I was trying to farm some of that up for our Discord members, but unfortunately, it is bound to the account. So we can always sell it later. But let's look at the stats here of this. You're going to notice on your armors that you're going to have a base armor, which is 1150. You're going to have a situation where it's going to reduce 24% of the explosive damage coming in. It's going to reduce flooding damage by 12%. It's going to reduce fire damage by 12%. Now the Black Prince armor is going to have where the flooding is almost non-existent, but you're going to have a higher buff on the explosives and the fire, and then your piercing as well, which we have 30% piercing. To me, this is pretty well balanced. The tearing, 0% right now, but I've not come across a lot of NPC players that are using anything to take out your mast or your sails. I've actually not ran across any PvP players using it, but I'm sure that they're going to start putting that in. When you're in a brig and you find yourself in a PvP situation, it doesn't take long to escape if that's what you want to do, and you can outmaneuver a lot of the larger boats with the brigantine. But you're not going to be able to tank like the snow. So we have this rope blocker here. What this does is it increases the acceleration to 300% when trim is activated at full speed. This 5% of stamina is instantly consumed to trigger this effect. So if you're tapping to open full sail, it's gonna activate this, and you're going to be able to get a 300% increase in acceleration to get out of the area. So for those who like to tank and sit, I would recommend that you put this on the snow as well. It's just great to be able to drop themselves and get out of a mortar area. Then we have the mortar works. What this does is it is going to increase elemental damage multiplier of the mortars by 19%. That's not too bad. Then you have the bombard powder house. This is going to increase your area of effect radius on a bombarder by 10%. That's where a lot of those buffs that you've seen back on the weapons are coming from. Then we have the mortar furnace. This is going to increase the maximum range of your mortar by 10%. And let me tell you, you definitely, if you're running mortars, you want to have a little bit more range than the enemy does. Then I'm using the lightened mast. I decided to throw this on. It's going to increase the acceleration by an additional 13%. What this is doing is those mast poles that drop to lower and raise the sails. This is going to make it lighter, and it's almost instantaneously when you tap that. I mean, the sails are dropped down, and you're just taking off. Then, of course, ship cosmetics. We're not going to do a whole lot into that, but as you're playing along, you're going to be opening up all different types of sets. You're going to be opening up different color sails, different patterns, the emblems. So here would be your patterns, which is the external patterns on the sails. The emblems would be whatever you want your Jolly Roger to be. It's going to be on those sails, guys. So we're currently using From the Abyss. This is something that you can open up with Infamy in the Kingpin hub. Then you have your masts that you can use. Most everybody's using the mast here. This is what came with the Bloody Bones package. Me personally, I like the Grim Reaper riding on the back of an angel. Then you have your whole customization. This changes the whole colors quite a bit, however you want to do that. So we may actually change my color up here just a hair. Just give a little bit more dark effect. Then you have your ornaments. This is stuff that's going to be on the side. So you have your decorative, but then you have your more warlike type stuff. Now, in the beta, this actually would help prevent you from being boarded. I've not been boarded yet. I've not even had any of the NPCs or the other players try to board ships. Usually we just sink each other, so they're not going to give you any kind of buffs from the looks of it. So it's just purely decorative. Same thing, this is going to be a placard. Unfortunately, the name that you name your ship is not what shows on there. This is the Enigma, is what we've named the ship. It says Vengeance. Then you have like Insatiable, Helm Lord. It's just a little license plate tag, I guess you can throw on there. It's more for decoration than anything viable. Then your helms. Some kind of weather vane. Doesn't actually seem to do anything. Then you can change how your crew looks. Unfortunately, you cannot change your crew type, and have like all men or all female. It's just a mixed group. Then of course you have your ship cosmetics. Now these little guys here, some of them will actually take and give you some extra buffs. So like this in here, find spots on ship with most sunlight. The cat does, but it actually helps to spot where those weak points are at a little further distance if the sun is hitting that ship, is what I've noticed. Then you have your mast decorations. Then you have your crow's nest decorations. Then you have firework displays. So you can set up your firework display however you want. We're going to set that one in. Then you can change the name of the ship, edit your name. You can change ships. But this here is going to give you a pretty good DPS type ship that's going to be able to maneuver very well. You're going to be able to get those accelerations. So if you decide, you know what, I'm going to sit right here and shoot this siege tower, when it actually targets you and you see those red circles popping out because you're using that ladder mast and you have that rope locker set up, you're going to be able to just throttle it up and it's going to move out of range. You can just then slow back down and shoot, and that's the way to do it. But you got to make sure that you're only being targeted by one of those siege towers, guys. But I hope you've enjoyed the video.
Okay, so let's give this build a try. We're going to come over here, we're going to do a takeover event and see exactly how well this build will hold up, not just against NPCs, but let's see if we get some player versus player action going on. There's this player. We are going to rain down a nightmare on this guy. I think we can take him. So it looks like we're pretty good range there. It looks like we're ranked 9, I'm a rank 11, so my armor itself should be able to hold up what this guy puts out. But this is always a great way to test your PvP skills. Even if you don't need an area, just join in and do some battles. And he is sunk. Now he will come back. He's going to come back. So that worked pretty well. We're going to try this other area here. This is another takeover event, and we're just going to see how we hold up the PvP situation. So far we're doing really good. We was able to take that zone, no problems. Looks like this here's going to be another successful run. Mind the NPC ships when you're in PvP, because they will continue to battle you. They're not going to care that you're shooting at someone else. So as you can see, that's actually pretty good. Stay tuned to the end. We're going to have some bonus material on here for you on a good tip if you are part of the helm for your business.
Guys, welcome back to Banished Souls. If you have not subscribed yet, be sure you hit that subscribe button and your notification bell. So, Cryptic Gaming here. I wanted to discuss something real quick for those of you who are Kingpin and you are tired of having to run over here to the coast to go into the Smuggler's Den to access your helm. All you have to do, bring up your map, tab over one time to the right, and you now have your helm map. From this map, anywhere in the sea, you can be on your ship, you can be on an island, it doesn't matter. You can come in and you can fund all of your businesses that you have. You can look for these hostile takeover events as well. It's going to give you all the information. You're going to see where you have to, come in here and upgrade something. You're going to be able to just check all your stats on that. So, hope this helps you out in game. Make sure you subscribe.